Hi there, everyone. So I'm going to try something new today. I'm going to make some candles. Oh my gosh, do you hear my cat in the background? 19 years old, all of a sudden lately she's decided she's just going to howl all disapprovingly at everything. Anyways, so I bought this kit online and it came with this to melt the wax in, the bags of wax, this is dye. It came with wicks, a thermometer, this holds the wick in place. These oils came with a little beeswax one in these tins. So I'm gonna make my own witchy version of candles here. So I'm gonna use a mason jar instead of the tins, and some of my own herbs and oils that I have I'm gonna put in it. And then I like the wooden wicks that I've seen on candles, so I bought a pack of wooden wicks. And I got my incense going. I cleansed everything here. Little instructions, a few more oils. I got my amethyst here and my obsidian to ward off any negativity. And I'm working on a candle today. I want to work on opening the third eye, just help, strengthening your third eye chakra. Okay, so this is something new for me. Let's see how it goes. This should be fun. Okay, so I got everything prepped, and this is the container that the wax goes in. And you take a pot that you have, and you put some water in it and bring it to a boil to make a double boiler. And I'll show you that in a minute. And it says to use half of a bag, but that's for the little tins that it came with. And I'm going to use this mason jar, which I have my wick attached to already. And it seems to me it's about twice the size of the tins that it came with. So I'm going to go ahead and use this whole bag and see what happens. All right, so here we go. I'm going to pour it in. And then it says to put the pot into the double boiler without getting water inside, of course. I'm going to put that all in. I'll take it over here, and you see I got my water going. Okay, and I guess you just place it right in there like that. I don't know if it's going to stand up. I might just have to hold it. So I'm going to do that while the wax melts and then move on to the next step. Okay, so as you can see, the wax is completely melted into the double boiler. And it came with this thermometer, and it said to put the thermometer in and heat the wax to 170 degrees. So I'm gonna put the thermometer in and take a reading and heat it up until it's the proper temperature. Okay, so it's reached actually 175 degrees, which is probably hard to see. And according to the instructions, this is the point where you would add one of the color chips if you want to turn the wax a certain color. But for this candle, I'm just going to leave it white, so I'm not going to add any of the color chips. I'm going to save that for another time. But if you wanted to make a certain color, then I guess this is when you would add the chips. And I've never done this before, but according to the instructions, it says not to use food coloring. You have to use these special little dye chip things to turn the wax a color. So now you have to let it cool until it reaches, I think it was 140, yeah, 140 degrees. And then that's when you can add the fragrance. So I'm going to let it cool. And when it reaches 140, I'm going to add the fragrance. It came with these fragrances here. And I'm not really sure if this is 100% natural or not. So I'm going to use my own fragrances, lavender oil, and then I have a couple others that I'm going to add as well, and some moon oil that I made a while back. I'm going to add that as well. And then you pour it into the jar, and from what I've read, you got to let it cool a little bit before you can add any type of herbs or anything like that. Otherwise they just sink right to the bottom. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so it's cooled down to 140 degrees. So I'm going to take the thermometer out, and now this is where I'm going to add my oils. And I'm not really so much concerned with this about the scent as what I want to use this candle for. And like I mentioned, I'm hoping to make a third eye awakening candle here. And I'm just using what I have on hand, what I have available that I know that would work for that. So I'm going to add some lavender oil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drops. is a little bit of moon oil that I made a while back, which I think I have a video on how I made that. Just add a little bit of that. Full moon oil. I'm going to add a little bit of rosemary oil because I am adding fresh rosemary and lavender. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And a little bit of sage oil. Sage oil is so wonderful for so many things. And this one does not have a dropper, so I just gotta be really careful not to pour half the bottle in. And I think that's probably about good. Okay. And then you're gonna stir it, and as I stir it, I'm gonna really focus on what I want this candle to be used for. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll pour it into the jar. So I mixed my oils in, and as I was stirring, I really focused on my intentions for this candle, and I'm going to pour it in, and I already have a feeling this is not going to be enough wax, so I'm going to have to melt some more. Let's see. Yeah, that's about half the jar, so I'm going to melt some more wax, and luckily it seems like this cools very slowly, so it shouldn't be an issue. I can always mix in some of the herbs while I'm waiting for the next batch of wax to melt. You never know. You live and you learn. This is a new experience for me. Okay, so I melted another thing of wax and I filled it up. Not all the way to the top.
Motion detected at the back door.
There's my Alexa. Because you don't want to fill it up all the way. So you can see I added some herbs, and I'm adding lavender. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little more. And some of it floated to the bottom. Some of it stayed at the top. Floated to the bottom. Sank to the bottom. And I'm just going to try to maybe see if I can poke some of it down in there just to get it kind of mixed in. And then I'm going to take my rosemary, and the rosemary did sink quite a bit because it's heavier. You can see I got some of the little rosemary flowers. It was blooming. There was a little bee out there doing his job around the flowers, and of course I asked the rosemary if it was alright if I trimmed a little off. Happy little bee doing his job. I'm just going to try to, because I kind of want them evenly distributed throughout the candle. I don't know. We'll see. See if that works. Kind of push them down in there. And then when it cools a little more, I'm just going to sprinkle some more just right on top, just so you can kind of really see those herbs on top of the candle. And then it says to wait 24 hours before you can burn it. So it's going to be a long 24 hours because I'm really excited. I want to try it out. And then, of course, you trim the wick down. And I would think it would go without saying that you make sure you use a heat-proof container. Mason jars are used for canning, so they're designed to withstand heat. You don't want to use, a glass vase or something that isn't made to withstand heat from burning it. So I would say that's pretty important. All right. Well, I will do an update after 24 hours when it's cooled and set and ready to light. So here's my finished candle. I just tied a little ribbon to it and hot glue a little gem on just to kind of make it look pretty. So I think it turned out pretty good. You can see all the herbs and the little flowers right on top. So pretty excited about it. It was pretty fun. I can't wait to make more. I'm definitely going to have to buy the wax in bulk so I can make more candles. There it is. My Third Eye Awakening candle. Not bad for my first one ever made. I don't know why I've waited 40 years to make candles. I really don't. I used to make them as a child. I don't know why I waited so long to do it as a grown-up. I always anoint my candles with oil or moon water, but never bothered making them. Don't know why. Alright, thanks for watching. Blessed be. I hope you enjoyed it. I sure had a lot of fun doing it.